Thank you, Elijah. All right, thank you. Um, Hi, my name is Taryn. I go to Penn, and I'm gonna be here next year continuing study, so y'all will see me. Sorry, my testimony's kind of sad. I'm sorry. All right, a very significant portion of my life has been marked by poor esteem and depression, even as early as third grade when my parents divorced. I was constantly made to feel different and awkward, whether it was in school, at my home church, and because of the divorce, sometimes within my own family. Now excluding my family, I was made fun of by most people I knew, frequently told that I was ugly and not black enough. The only compliments that peers handed out were that I was smart and I could draw, but this of course wasn't enough for me. I felt incredibly lonely through most of grade school, hated who I was, and wished that I was born someone else. There were times where I thought maybe I could kill myself to get rid of this disappointment I feel for existing, but I held on to the idea that God has a plan and purpose for me, which is something that I gained from an early exposure to church. By senior year of high school, I entered my first dating relationship, and I used that to put some worth under my belt. He wasn't Christian, and he was actually kind of anti-Christian, but I didn't care because I was just hungry for validation. But unfortunately, I ended up getting the opposite when he cheated on me and told me that he had no desire to talk to me anymore or see me. And all that happened just before I came to Penn, so I started off great. Yeah, freshman year sucked. I was, not because, okay, sorry. All right, I was attending GCC by the third weekend, but yeah, to be honest, I didn't feel like I was really fitting in. I kept my eyes open for other fellowships, but I kept going to GCC because of my family group leader at the time, who met up with me almost weekly and checked in on me even more often. But despite her efforts, I still couldn't shake the loneliness that I was feeling at GCC. Not only was I still feeling like I didn't belong, I also felt like I wasn't smart enough or talented enough to keep up with my new classmates. And freshman year was the first time that I felt completely worthless, and the first time I started taking thoughts of suicide seriously. But instead of thoughts about God's plans for me coming to mind, it was just the fear of possibly suffering an eternity in hell for letting my final act on earth be murdering myself. Sophomore year, I actually decided to commit to GCC, and actually when I fully embraced the community, I felt really at home in it. It was honestly the best year of my life, and I thought that my long battle with depression had finally ended. However, this all crumbled junior year. Thoughts of suicide resurfaced, and I was even more tempted by them than last time. But I still couldn't risk suffering an eternity in hell, so I just wished for death often. And junior year led to some questions. I wondered if depressed was my normal state, and if I would ever learn to fully love myself and be happy with who I am. But despite my depression being the worst it had ever been, junior year was also the year I most appreciated the gospel. I was thoroughly convinced that I was of very little value, so this truth that the most lovely and holy thing that ever was, is, and will ever be, chose to suffer through such an excruciating death for my sake left my heart in awe and confused my self-esteem. And it was at this point that I could begin climbing up again. I still struggle sometimes with being joyful and loving who I am, but the fact that even my depression was used to deepen my appreciation for the gospel alerted me that even when I'm at my lowest, God is still right there beside me, still encouraging me and still loving me. And I will read Psalm 139, verses 17 through 18. I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the grave, you are there.